G'day guys and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be going through my 2025 AFL season predictions. Before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. You don't want to miss any of this year's content because this season is going to be massive. Also, just keep in mind that these are my predictions and some of these predictions you might disagree with. Just keep in mind that these are my opinions. Do not take massive hate towards them. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. In 18th, I believe the majority of the league, the community actually, has them 18th. We have the Richmond Tigers. Tigers are most certainly coming last in 2025. They only won 2 games last year and they lost lots of experience going out of the trade period. They lost Dusty to retirement. They lost Rioli, Baker, Graham to trade period. Lots of experience has been lost in their side. Although they did get a good pickup in the draft with Sam Lawler, who showed great skill in the preseason game against the West Coast Eagles, kicked 2 goals, but then got injured in the last moments of the game. They definitely did good in the draft though, the Richmond Tigers, with lots of young talent coming out of that first round. But that talent won't be too good going into the start of the season with how good every other team is and how much experience they have on those teams. In 17th, I've got the Melbourne Demons. Melbourne has the worst luck with injuries. Petrarca's has a broken rib, but has been putting in the work in training, and I think his rib's fully healed. I have no clue. Melbourne's injuries would most likely go through the whole season, which will be hit them hard. Petrarca should be fit for the whole season though, which could make the Demons move higher up the ladder. But if Petrarca gets injured, which for some reason I have a weird feeling that he's going to get injured this year, the same thing that's going to happen to the D's that happened last year will happen this year. They just have a huge drop off because, in my opinion, the Demons are nothing without Petrarca. Although Clayton Oliver seems to be very, very good in form right now, but we all know that majority of great players have some little dry patches, and that dry patch would probably maybe affect the Demons. I have no clue. This prediction could be very right, but also very wrong. So please do not judge me with that prediction. In 16th, I have the Adelaide Crows. Now, this prediction is yet again another very right or very wrong. They have great additions to Crows. Alex Neil-Bullen, who could have a huge effect on the Crows' gameplay this season. But the Crows, like what I believe I saw last year, they are slowly falling down the ranks of how good they can be. They are very, very good at home, do not get me wrong. But everywhere else, they just do not seem to perform too well in my opinion. They have great players, but they're all just very, very young and not really too much experience, which will be painful to see going up against the very, very experienced great guys. Although that young might be better, but experienced is always better in my opinion. Isaac Rankin, though, will get overused, which will be good for the fantasy people out there. Isaac Rankin will be on track for a breakout season this year, and if he wanted to, he could genuinely make the Crows move up the ladder than where I have them right now. But I feel like the Crows will just keep falling down the ladder, and I reckon next year they'll probably rise back up the ladder. In 15th, I have the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Sure, North Melbourne has great experienced players like Luke Parker and Caleb Daniel, but will they really be enough for them? Let's be real, North have struggled on the experience side of their game, but are they really going to get 4 old players who are going to retire and some are just absolute trash? Sheezer will be set for a great year. Simpkin just won the Polyfarmer medal in the Indigenous All-Star game, so there is at least some hope for North Melbourne. But I just don't see North Melbourne rising too high up on the ladder this year by looking at some of their players on their list. In 14th, I've got West Coast Eagles. West Coast has some great talent coming out of the trade and draft period, and we sure saw some of that talent in the preseason game against the Tigers. Jack Graham was definitely a good get, showed his skill in the midfield against his old team. Bo Allen, from what I have heard on TV and from journalists, that they say he's another Harley Reid, which just makes me absolutely thrilled to see him play in about 18 days from now. Tyrell Dewar went up for 2 high flyers during the game, which is insane, and I cannot wait to see what marks he can produce in 2025. West Coast has a great list, and clearly McWalter's game plan works really, really well. As a West Coast fan, I cannot wait to watch my team play round 1, especially watching that preseason game, seeing what we're able to do. West Coast could genuinely push for finals this year, but my expectations are not that high. In 13th, I've got St Kilda. St Kilda have been on the fall the past couple of seasons now. They had a great season in 2023, finishing 6th. And finished 2024 in 12th. St Kilda got a very great experienced player in Jack McRae from the Bulldogs and added some great young talent like Toby Travaglia and Alex Taru. Saints could have a season like 2023 where they just dominate the whole league. or they could just fall down the ladder even more. They're just one of those teams that are very unpredictable some seasons. I feel like the Saints will have a season like 2024 though, and just slowly drip down the ladder. Don't get me wrong, I feel like 2076 will be their year, and I reckon they'll rise up back to towards the 8. But I feel like this year they're going to stay towards their range that they finished last year. In 12th, I've got the Gold Coast Suns. Hardwick has been making the Suns work very hard this offseason. Suns could genuinely push for finals, but I just really do not see them getting into the finals. Leo Lombard is an absolute beast in training. He just dominates out there. Suns have chosen to go with a way new game style, and clearly they have decided to go for a new club style. Suns have lost lots of potential for the future, but as of right now, I don't see much happening with the Suns and finals this year. Suns have lots of potential for the future, but as of right now, I don't see much happening with the Suns this year. In 11th, I have the Western Bulldogs. I've got the Bulldogs in 11th because their list is still young. They do got very, very good players like Bontempelli, Treloar, who's injured for I think the first couple of rounds of the season. Lots of improvement they've got to do if they want to get to the finals again. They've made the finals last year, but got eliminated to Hawthorn in the first round, which Hawthorn was supposed to finish in the bottom 4. I don't know how the Hawthorn Hawks went on a rise and fumbled, and Western Bulldogs somehow fumbled it. Western Bulldogs lost to a very, very young side. Keep that in mind. Lots of teams have improved to become 5-star teams, and looking at the Dogs list, they have a bit to catch up on. Norton, Ugelhagen, and Darcy in their forward line are just scary, including Treloar and Bontempelli in the midfield. There are about 9 teams that could win the premiership this year, and within those 9 teams, I do not see the Western Bulldogs fitting in them. In 10th, I've got the Essendon Bombers. The Bombers can be building something for the future. Stardust is looking to have an absolute star this season, with having 31 disposals in both preseason games. Langford and Wright are the only tall forwards in the forward line now, and they should be trying their hardest to provide for their team, which we saw Langford's name quite a lot last year, but I didn't hear the name Peter Wright basically at all last year. The departure of Jake Stringer could put an effect on the Dons. If Wright doesn't step up and become the great goal kicker he is, then Dons will probably fall down the ladder even more. Merritt could have a Brownlow season. Watching his season last year, he has potential to win the Brownlow sometime soon. Bombers could have plenty of potential, and if they perform to the best of their ability, next year they might get into the finals, and they might break their streak of when they last won a final. In 9th, I've got the Collingwood Magpies. Collingwood should just miss out on the 8. They grabbed great talent in the trade period, Dan Houston, who's a beast and who can easily knock people out, as what we saw in the most recent showdown. Harry Perryman, who is a great defender, and Tim Membry, who is a great forward and can produce important goals for the Magpies. Nick Dacos is looking to try get his first Brownlow medal after being runner-up with 38 votes last year. The Pies are looking to try get back in the finals to win another premiership, but like what I said with the Bulldogs, there are so many teams that have a chance to get into the finals, and I don't think the Pies will get in finals. They can, but I have them sitting at 9th for now. In 8th, I have the Fremantle Dockers. Fremantle have probably one of the strongest lists in the AFL. They lost the Indigenous All-Stars game in pre-season, but Longmuir stated after the game that they didn't want to give too much of their game plan for the actual AFL season. Their forward has to be one of the best forward lines I have ever seen. Josh Tracy and John Amos as the big key set shot forwards, Shai Bolton as the magician in the mix. That is just a dream forward line, I'll tell you what. And in my opinion, I just think that could be in a few years. If Cozzy decides to move to Fremantle are genuinely going on a premiership run. In 7th, I've got Carlton. Carlton most likely won't have as many injuries as they did at the end of last year, which will do them some good for this season, hopefully. Patrick Cripps looking to get 3 Brownlow medals. Jagger Smith, who unfortunately just got injured in the pre-season game against the St Kilda Saints. He was going to have an amazing year, I'll tell you what. Curnow is looking to try to get back a Coleman medal that he could have won last year. Mackay is looking to get a Coleman medal. If everything goes right for the Carlton Blues this year, which so far we have not seen a thing go right, especially with Jagger Smith going down. But if everything goes right from here, Carlton could be premiership favourites. In 6th, I've got Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide's just a team where I haven't seen them outside the 8 once in my lifetime. They are just a team that always seems to perform every single year, and this year could be the year for Port. It's Kane Hinckley's last season as coach for the Port Adelaide Power, and knowing Hinckley, he would want to win a flag, and especially in his last season as coach, before handing the reins over towards Josh Carr. Horne-Francis is set to have an amazing season, getting 19 disposals in the match simulation against the Adelaide Crows with a disposal efficiency of 84.2%. Rosie and Butters are also in amazing form, and that midfield that the Power will have is just gonna be stacked. In fifth, I have the GWS Giants. GWS have such a strong lineup going into 2025, especially their forward line, which is looking way better this season. Jesse Hogan, who is still in Coleman winning form after winning the Coleman medal last season. The addition of Drake Stringer will be huge for the Giants, and their small forwards are elite. Toby Green, Brent Daniels, absolutely elite. The mix of Tom Green, Stephen Caniglio, and Toby Bedford in the midfield is also insane. That share in the midfield is going to be deadly in 2025. I cannot wait to see what the Giants can produce in 2025. In fourth, I have Sydney Swans. Sydney lost the 2024 AFL Grand Final by 60 points, and I still expect them to finish in the top 4. John Longmire is no longer coach for the Sydney Swans, and Dean Cox has taken the job, and he will most likely be very good at the job. Chad Warner could be playing his last year at the Sydney Swans with the amount of rumours and signs that Chad Warner could be moving out west. It just makes so many people believe he is leaving Sydney very, very soon. Heaney could have won the Brownlow medal last year if he wasn't suspended with a couple rounds to go in the season. Swan's got a great list, especially in the midfield area. That midfield area is honestly stopping me from putting the Swans out of the 8. And third, I've got the Brisbane Lions, the reigning premiers. I genuinely believe Brisbane can go back-to-back this year. They just have the squad to do it. Their defence is stacked. Harris Andrews leading the way down there, along with Zorko and Wilmot. Neil and Dunkley are deadly doing the midfield, with the big O tapping it down to them. And the forward line with Charlie Cameron and Cam Rayner and Eric Hipwood. Brisbane got an insane chance to go back-to-back, and if you do not see how big their chances are, then I don't know where you guys are looking. In second, I've got the Hawthorn Hawks. Hawkball! Hawthorn got great additions in the trade period that they will change their team so much, especially in the defense, with them adding Josh Battle and Tom Barrass, getting some better experience down back. Tom Barrass and James Sicily in that back line just sounds scary. Nick Watson is a player who's going to have a breakout year this year for Hawthorn. We saw him become a huge star late in the season last year, so just imagine what he will provide this whole season for Hawthorn. Hawthorn are flag favourites this year. If they are a very healthy list throughout the season, then Flag Hawk is truly alive. In first, the minor premiers, I've got Geelong. Geelong got quite the young talent on their side. Lawson Humphries played an absolute sensational game against Fremantle in the Indigenous All-Stars game. Shannon Neal is set to have a breakout year in the forward line. He has turned into a huge beast. In pre-season, he ended up box squatting 220 kegs, which is absolutely insane. Jeremy Cameron could generally be a favourite to win the Coleman medal. How he ended his season in 2025 with 9 goals against West Coast, he can definitely take that skill into 2025 and he will win the Coleman. Geelong got a great side and they have the biggest chances to win the premiership. Now, moving on to the awards. My Coleman medalist is Jeremy Cameron. Jeremy Cameron is just a great forward, deserves to win his second Coleman medal. Jeremy Cameron is the type of player just to randomly kick 5 goals in a game. Unexpectedly, he kicked 9 in the last home and away game of the season against the Eagles in 2024. And just imagine if that form he used at the end of last year came into this year. He can genuinely be an unstoppable force in the forward line. Now moving on to my Brownlow medal, and it is Nick Dacos. Dacos was so close to winning the Brownlow last year, but Cripps took over in the end, beating Dacos by 8 votes. Dacos is on for another breakout year. Absolute star he is. Gun in the at half back and can easily get the ball moving through that midfield. Dacos has to be one of my favourite players in the competition. I just really like his game craft. Dacos deserves a Brownlow and this should be his year. Now my rising star, this might sound a bit biased, but I have Bo Allen. Allen can literally play any position and he would be absolutely amazing for it. No Eagles bias here and all, but like Bo Allen winning, I really do see him winning the rising star. He just has so much talent, based in the mid, but can play forward or back. Journalists in WA say that he is generally another version of Harley Reid, which just makes me very excited to watch him play in person. Bo is going to be a player that everyone has to watch this year, so keep an eye out for Bo Allen. Now, my premiers for 2025, I have the Hawthorn Hawks. I'm generally telling you, this year is the year of Hawthorn. They have so much going right for them at the moment, and they generally probably will be the best looking side coming into 2025. Their backline is what's going to be key for them, and they spent their whole offseason basically getting a stacked backline. Hawthorn just looks super deadly coming into 2025. I mean, their preseason definitely didn't show that they were going to be that very, very, very good side, but I mean, they'll still be able to finish high on that ladder. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.